guys, Jonathan here at Shadow Foam, and today we're going to be looking at how to cut shadow foam. And I'm sure you're thinking we do that every week, and to be fair, we do. Most of our videos, we do show you the basic premise of cutting shadow foam. But in this video, we're going to have a detailed look, start to finish, how you cut shadow foam and get the best results. We've got some great hints and tips in this video, and we're also going to be showing you our 2 brand new cutting kits, which I'm really excited to have. And we've been waiting on the packaging for these for quite a while, so I'm really happy to have them sorted. So we've got our basic cutting pack and we've got our pro cutting kit. So we're going to start off with the basic cutting kit. I'll put that to the side. Stay tuned for that, we'll show you what's in that later. But with this kit, it's $14.99 on our website, or it comes free with all orders over £60. So head over to shadowfoam.com and get yourself one of these, or get yourself a pro cutting kit, but like I say, we'll show you a bit more about that later. For now though, I've already got my cutting mat set out, so these are also available on our website. Not very much, starting at $5.99. We've got loads of different sizes of these. I've got my basic cutting kit, and this has got everything you need to get started cutting shadow foam. So we've boiled it down into just the basic things to cut shadow foam and to cut it safely. So we've got our anti-cut safety gloves, we've got our instructions, we've got our scalpel handle, and we've got 5 blades. And a new addition, we've got a set of Shadow Foam branded forceps as well. Now this is a bit of an unusual one, but a lot of people ask us about how to put the scalpel blade on the handle, and it's something we wanted to show you. In this video we're going to be doing that, but also make it easier and safer for you to do that. So the way that the surgeons do it, the way that people who use scalpels every single day do it, is with a set of forceps. So all you do is you take your scalpel handle, you take one of your blades, and then you use the forceps to put them on. So let me put my anti-cut gloves on and I'll show you how to do it. So all we have to do with the forceps is just clamp them just above this slot on the blade. So you can see we've got this long slot on the blade, that's what locates it onto the scalpel, and we just clamp these just above it. And we want to put it on that 3rd little ridge on this forceps to make sure it's clamped nice and tightly. Now you want to line up the scalpel blade with the top of the scalpel, and you can see that that thin end of the slit should just slide in with this corresponding ledge, and you should get a nice firm click. And there we go, the scalpel's on there now. You can see it's fixed, it's not going anywhere. And to take the scalpel off, you want to use the same set of forceps and just clamp them right at the bottom there. And then you can just lift up that top edge and then push with your thumb the set of forceps, and it comes off nice and easy. That way your fingers are safely away from the scalpel blade, and then make sure you put these in a sharps box. You want to make sure those scalpels aren't getting put into general waste. Don't be tempted to use your fingers, because one slip and you can have quite a serious cut on your fingers. So we're including forceps now with all of our cutting kits to avoid those little nicks and cuts that you just don't want to be messing with. So we've got the blade on there now, all ready to cut some shadow foam, so I'll put that off to one side. We'll tidy up our spare blades, which I'll be able to use later, and we can start cutting some foam. Right, so all we need is a bit of foam. Here it is, this is some 70mm red shadow foam. We've got 7 different colours available and loads of different ways to order. We've got value packs, large sheets, we also do custom sizes, so if you've got a project and you need some inserts specifically for that, whatever size it might be, length, width, and a variety of depths, you can head to the custom size page and get all of those there. We also have inserts for all of the common power tool cases, so if it's DeWalt, Makita, Festool, whatever power tool cases you've got, if you check out the Shadow Foam website on the inserts page, we've got a whole host of inserts that slot directly into your power tool case. But right now though, let's look at how to cut shadow foam. Let's start with something really simple. And what could be simpler than a spanner? Pretty common, and it's one of the first things usually people organise, because you've got a whole set of spanners, you want them in order, and they're a really great use for shadow foam. So I've got a spanner here, and all we want to do is place it where we want it to go. Now, if I did my layout here and kind of laid out all of my spanners and all my screwdrivers, whatever it was, you're going to want to make sure you take a photograph. That's the first really important thing about doing these layouts, making sure you capture a photograph before you move everything off.
Ah, perfect.
So you place the spanner where you want it to go. I'm happy with it here. We've got it nice and square to this edge, which is perfect. Now all we want to be doing now is putting a little bit of light pressure on it so it doesn't move. If you just try and cut around it without putting any pressure on it, it's going to move, and then you're going to have a really dodgy silhouette of the tool. You want to put some pressure on it and try and keep it still, and try not to move it at all. You don't want it to move even a fraction. Then you can take your scalpel, you've put your blade on, ensuring you've got your anti-cut gloves on. You just start wherever you want to, it doesn't really matter, and just trace cut around the item. The blade doesn't have to go very deep into the foam, it just has to go enough that you'll be able to see the outline. Now we're using this scalpel just like a pencil, and it's better than a pencil actually. If you use a pencil or a pen, you've usually got the thick body of the pen that makes you struggle to get that really accurate outline. Because the scalpel is so thin, and it's so thin all the way along the body, you can get right up against the tool or the item and get a really accurate profile. Now I've gone all the way around there and I've met back up at the start, and now we can take that item and move it out of the way. Now if you've done this right, you shouldn't really be able to tell where you've even cut. You can see there I've got a very light impression where I've pushed on the tool, but you can't see the cut that I've made. So all you want to do now is push on the foam, and you can see then the cut all the way around, and as long as that cut's gone all the way around, you can check by just pressing on the foam, the cut should have gone all the way around. And if it's not, let's say in the corner here it's not met up, we can just use the scalpel and make sure it's met up. Now for an item like this, we only want to peel back a small amount of the foam. You know, this is a 70mm sheet of foam and we only want to pull back 8mm. You know, we don't want that foam being lost into a huge cavity to make it difficult to get out. We just want it in there just enough so it's flush with the surface. Once we've cut the profile, we can go back around and make sure we've cut at least 8mm into the foam. But in reality, we can cut right past that. I'm cutting down about 20mm here, and it's not going to make a difference because we'll only peel out 8mm. So it doesn't matter. As long as I've not cut all the way through the foam, which is going to remove some of the structural integrity, it doesn't matter if we've well overcut the depth. There we go. I've gone all the way around, and it's about 20mm deep now all the way around. And all that's left is the peeling. So when it comes to the peeling, it's easy to take one of your gloves off. I usually leave my left glove on because I'm right-handed. You want to start at one end, doesn't matter which, and you just want to be pressing your finger in the cut that you've made and pulling the piece of foam that you want to peel out towards you. Now you're not just pulling it like you would peel a banana, one end and then all the way down. You're chasing the peel all the way along with your finger. When it comes to peeling the foam, it doesn't have to peel on the layers. It can peel just above or just below. So all you're looking to focus on is how much foam needs removing so that tool slots in there nice and comfortably and at the right height. And that way you get a really smooth peel. Now I've just peeled out one layer there, and I think that might even be enough. But I can always go back and peel a little bit more if I want it to go deeper. But let's do a little test fit. And that's exactly how I'd want it. I wouldn't want a spanner any deeper than that. I'm really happy with that. You can see we've got quite a smooth bottom there. It's not perfect, but we do have tools available to help get an even smoother bottom than that. But that's a pretty good start. So that's how you do a spanner. Dead simple. Let's have a look at a more complex shape now, and let's do a set of pliers. So pliers are obviously deeper, but they're exactly the same. They're all one depth across the whole item. So we just put some light pressure on them so they don't move, and we just trace cut around the item. Now when it comes to spacing of tools, you really want to leave a minimum of about 8mm between items. Now you can get a little bit closer than that if it's just a corner to a corner, but if you've got two items next to each other like this, two long items, you want to have them a minimum of 8mm apart. Now obviously on this sheet of foam here, I've got loads of room, I may as well have them spaced out further, but if I was trying to do a nice efficient layout and fit as many tools in a drawer as possible, you want to keep a good 8mm gap around them. Right, so we've gone all the way around that set of pliers there. We can again push on the foam and make sure that that cut's gone all the way around, which I can see that it has. So now all we want to do is go back and cut that, make sure we've cut down deep enough. If we try and peel the foam out without cutting down deep enough, we'll have it tear on us, and then we'll get a really scruffy base and it won't peel properly and you'll be frustrated. So you want to make sure you've definitely cut down deep enough all the way around to get the best result with the peel. There we go, I've cut down at least 25–30mm there, all the way around the item. Again, I'll take off my glove and I'll start peeling it. So I'm just gonna push my finger down here, and because this plier needs to go in about 15–18mm, I can push my finger down a little bit deeper and pull out a couple of layers at once. I don't necessarily have to just do that thin top layer like I did for the spanner. And I can just chase it along on both sides of the plier. And that's it. Quick as that, we put the plier in, and I'm also pretty happy with that. That is just proud of the surface, which I like. That looks really good, and that is how you do simple shapes. Now when it comes to something that's got two depths to it, so a really good example is a screwdriver. You can see we've got the really thin blade of the screwdriver, but then we've got the thick handle. A really easy way to do these and get a nice result is to cut the handle in first. And this also helps when you have a full set of screwdrivers and sometimes the blades aren't quite square to the handle. You might notice this with sometimes cheaper sets of screwdrivers, or, well, all screwdrivers can have this, to be fair. The mold that they use for the handle might not be quite square to the blade of the handle. So by doing it this way, you can ensure all your screwdrivers line up really nicely, even if some of the screwdrivers themselves aren't quite aligned. So all you do is the same technique. You place the screwdriver where you want it to go. You make sure you've got your glove on. You put some pressure on it, but this time we're just cutting around the handle. We're not cutting around the blade, we're ignoring it. As long as the handle is in the exact place you want it to be, we can then just cut around that, making sure that the scalpel is perpendicular or square to the foam. We don't want to be cutting on an angle on any of these. We want to be using it like a pencil, as if you're drawing a silhouette. Now once we've cut all the way around the handle, you'll notice that where the blade was, you've not got a connected cut, so we want to join that up. And that way we have a single item now, which is just the handle of the screwdriver. And we're going to cut around exactly the same as before and just make sure that cuts deep enough. Now because the blade's going in a good 30mm there, I'm cutting down about 40-50mm into the foam here. I'm going right down, well past where I need to be. And once I've gone all the way around, I'll take the glove off again and we'll peel the foam out. This time I'm going to push my finger down even further and pull out about 2 or 3 layers all at once, which is that. And you can see now we've got a really nice cutout, but it only fits the handle of the screwdriver. And the best thing is now the blade sits nice and flush to the foam. We don't have to worry about what's called a parallax error. If you've got an item that's floating above the surface, you can have this issue where the blade might not quite be square. So that's called a parallax error. We want to avoid that. So we put the handle in the foam, and now we can square up the blade to the other items. And this is where, if you've got kind of wonky screwdrivers, you've got a little bit of a fine adjustment now, because the foam's flexible. You can move it a bit left or a bit right to make sure that it's perfectly square to your other items. Once you're happy with it, we just cut round the blade exactly like all the other items. And you can see it's dead easy now, dead simple, and you can get a really accurate cut. Take the item away, exactly the same as all the other items that we've cut now. And we peel the foam out, and that's even easier because we can access the end from the handle cutout. And that is how you cut an item that's got dual depths. So that's how you cut hand tools. Let's have a look at cutting something like a power tool, something that's even deeper, and this again has got multiple depths to it. But when it comes to cutting this item in, it's very similar to all the other items we've done. We just make sure we've got our gloves on, take the scalpel, put some pressure on the item, and we just cut around it, just exactly the same as the small items. Now you can do this in sections depending on what the power tool is. Some power tools, circular saw for example, usually is a bit more of a 3D shape, and you would have to split that up into smaller areas, but with something like this impact drill I can just get a really nice profile cut all the way around it in one pass. Now again, we're only cutting very lightly into the foam, we're not cutting deep at all, and when we've come all the way around and we've met back up at the start, we can take the item away and we'll be able to see that cut that we've made. But now, one of the differences is we've got to cut right down. Obviously for this drill, we want it to sit a good 50-60mm in the foam. This is a 70mm insert, so we're gonna have to peel out a lot of bulk of volume. So now we wanna go round and we're gonna have to do a few passes to get that cut really deep down. And this is again, a common mistake. A lot of times people don't cut down deep enough. Now, the one thing I will say is that you don't have to cut down deep enough in the first pass. It can sometimes be easier to cut down 20-30mm and then pull out a few layers, and then you can go back and cut all the way around. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm cutting now down to the base of the scalpel, so that's going to be about 35mm to the base of the scalpel blade. And now I can see I've gone down 35mm all the way around. So we'll peel out this first couple of top layers, and that'll give us a really shallow but clean silhouette. Same process for peeling, we're just chasing it along. So you can see there, we've pulled out about a 15mm layer out of the foam. So we need to go a fair bit deeper, so I'll put my glove on. But now it's easier to get that cut depth right, because I can see the edge of the scalpel blade. So we're going to go back here and continue cutting this profile out. And hopefully we can get it right down to the depth we need now. So we've cut down deep enough there now. So I'll take my glove off, and again, we're going to dig down the finger down one end and start pulling the foam back towards us. So I've obviously been cutting foam for over 10 years now, and I can do this in my sleep, but you might not find it quite as easy straight away, but it takes a bit of practice, and then you'll get to the level that I'm at here, where it's just nice and easy peeling along. Brilliant. Now, another thing I'm going to do here, as you can see, on this impact gun, the battery is a good 10mm deeper than the rest of the drill. So I'm going to draw a line. It's quite easy to work out on these, and they make it quite easy for you. On the shape of the drill, we can see where it goes thin, it goes shallow. So just across the handle there, I'm just going to score a line, and that will then give me a separate battery shape, which I can peel out separately to the rest of the drill, and I can make that a bit deeper. And I'll just peel out another about 8-10mm, and that'll get us a really nice seated position. When the drill's in there, it'll seat nice and square to the surface rather than being on a little bit of an angle. Right, so that is all of the bulk of the cutting done. But at this point, you might look at the bottom and think, oh, it's not quite as smooth as I'd like it. And that's where we have two main tools to help you get a smooth bottom. We've got our hot smoothing tool, and we've got our smoothing spinners. So the hot foam smoother is a really simple little, it's very similar to a soldering iron. I'll open this up here. They're $29.99 on the website, shadowfoam.com. Very similar to an adapted soldering iron, however they are slightly higher wattage than a soldering iron. We have a little brass disc that screws in on the end. And then we plug this in, make sure you're operating in a well-ventilated area, and we can use this to smooth out the bottom. Now we've got a video dedicated to getting smooth bottoms. Go and check that out here. You can see this in use. But what I'm going to use for this one here is the smoothing spinner. Now the smoothing spinner is very quick and very efficient. It's the best option for small little projects like this, where you're only doing one or two items that need smoothing. All you do is you take one of the spinners, you put it in this impact driver or any other rotating drill. It'll go in a combi drill or any other, even a small little screwdriver or Dremel. But ideally you want it in an impact gun. Now all you do is you place the flat of the smoothing spinner on the base of your cutout, and you can use it to just trim off any lumps and bumps. It's really quick and efficient. I absolutely love the smoothing spinners. So just like that, it's all smooth, it's looking great. And we can put that very same impact driver in that slot, and that is perfect. I'm loving that. Now the only thing that's missing is a way of getting that drill out of there nice and quick and easy, which is where finger pulls come in. So finger pulls, there's a couple of ways of doing them. Now the way that we recommend is either using a long straight kind of channel or using our stencil kits to get circles. So we'll do both of those today. So we're going to use one of our stencil sets. Again, all of the things that we're referencing here, they're going to be linked in the description below, and they're all available on the website, shadowfoam.com. And I think these are $9.99, so they're all nice and cheap items that just make the process of cutting shadow foam a bit easier. It comes with a radius stencil. This radius guide helps you do corners for cases or case inserts. We've also got the 2 circle guides, and for this one, we're going to take the larger circle guide, and we're going to cut a 40mm semicircle on both sides of the handle. This is going to make it dead easy to get that impact gun in and out of the insert, which is what you want. You don't want to make your life tricky. You want to know where your drill is, and you want to be able to get to it quickly. So we're going to go for a 40mm semicircle here. We're just going to overlap it and then just use the scalpel to just cut around, very similar to how we've cut all the other items. We're just doing it lightly into the foam. We can take the stencil out of the way, and then we can go back and we can cut down deep. And what we're going to do here is cut right down to the same depth that we've got the cutout to, and that way we can get a really nice kind of finish to it all at the same depth. And then we're going to come back and do another semicircle on the other side, so it kind of mirrors it. That's how you get the best kind of looking finger pulls. And again, cut around all the way to the same depth as the drill cutout. Pull that out, and that is perfect. So that's how you do semicircle finger pulls for power tools, larger items, or just items that are on their own. For something like this though, when you've got 3 items in a row, or maybe you've got a big long row of spanners, the best thing to do is to use a ruler. We want to position it across the items. Now, what you're looking for is the place that really looks the best, but also allows you to get the items out nice and easily. So we're going to go across the base here. We're going to be able to pull out the screwdriver by the blade, we've got the pliers by the handles, and we've got the spanner nice and easy. And obviously it's going to look nice and tidy. So we're just going to place that across all 3 items. Make sure that it's square to this bottom edge, and then as simple as cutting either side of the ruler. And once you've done that, you take it off and you cut it down to the depth. Again, we're just going to peel out the foam to the same depth that the tools are, just to get the best look. Once we've done that, we can take the glove off and I can just peel the little bits of foam out. Now, when it comes to these finger pulls, it's totally personal preference, but another little thing we like to do is take your circle gauge, and this ruler is 25mm, so we can cut a 25mm semicircle either end of this little channel that you've cut, and it really does finish it off and make it look really nice. Exactly the same as we did with the other semicircles. We just cut round it, take it away, cut it a bit deeper, and then peel it out. It's a nice little detail that helps you grab either side of the item, and it just finishes it off. It just looks really nice, I think. So again, when it comes to finger pulls, it's totally personal preference. Some people don't even add finger pulls, so it's totally up to you. But you can see there, we've got a nice channel now. I'll put the items back in, and they're all dead easy to get in and out. So that is exactly how you cut items into shadow foam, and that's how you cut and peel. And we've done all of that with one blade, which is pretty average, really. One blade should last you a good, 1 sheet, 1 drawer full of tools, particularly when you're doing plastic items or chrome items, because it is usually the items that dull the blade quicker than the foam itself. Take your time. If you're a newbie to this, you've not done it before, go nice and steady with it, and keep changing the blade if you feel like you're struggling and it's not cutting the foam smoothly. We've got full boxes of blades available, shadow foam blades, on our website. These are $15.99. It's 100 blades, so you can keep changing them out to make sure that they're really good. And that brings us to our new Pro Cutting Kit. So, the Pro Cutting Kits, as I've said multiple times, all this stuff's available on the website. It's all in stock, and it's all new stuff. So go and check it out. If you're an existing shadow foam customer, I'm sure you'll find some of this stuff interesting. So this is the Pro Cutting Kit. It's got everything that the basic cutting kit's got. So if you're on the website trying to choose between the two, you don't need both. It's one or the other. The Pro Cutting Kit has got everything the basic cutting kit's got and more. So we've got the same anti-cut gloves. We've got the same scalpel, but in this one we've got 25 blades rather than the 5 that come with the basic kit. We've also got some instructions. We've got a sticker sheet rather than an individual sticker, so you can get more stickers in this pack. We've also got a set of the smoothing spinners. They come in the Pro Cutting Kit. We've got the forceps, and we've also got this repair glue. And this is called Fantastic Elastic, and it is a flexible rubber repair glue. So if you make a mistake on your foam, this is the stuff to use. You can kind of take the piece that you've pulled out, put the glue on the back, and then stick it back in, let it dry, and then you can go again and cut something else in. So the Fantastic Elastic Glue is great. This is also sold separately, so you can check that out. You also get a craft knife. Now this is a heavy duty craft knife used for converting sheets down. You're not cutting around tools with this and trying to cut and peel with it. It's not for that, that's what the scalpel's for. This is for converting the large sheets down and using your offcuts for other stuff. So that's really good, and that's in the Pro Cutting Kit. So they're the new kits. That's how to cut shadow foam. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. I read every question and I love talking to you all. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. Thanks very much for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, why not check out some of our others? We've got new videos coming out every week. And Colin Furs, what's the quickest way for people to see these videos?
Subscribe.